Chapter 35. I hate making those phone calls. It's so impersonal to do on the phone, but the family needs to know about critical situations. I leaned back from the phone, but flew forward in my chair when something struck me in the back. "Go save him! You have to save him!" Diane grabbed my shoulder, with her uniformed husband holding on to her. I twisted out of her grasp and stood up. "I'm sorry, this gift is not unlimited. I can't use it on everyone. Josh has been abusing drugs for years. He has no kids. He's not married. There are more deserving people." My words only increased her desperation. "Then do it for me. I don't want to kill someone. I didn't see him. Don't make me go through this, please." "Diane, this isn't your fault. He could have run out in front of anyone. I'm sure the security cameras will show there was nothing you could have done." She absorbed the words like darts from a blowgun. Each sentence I tried to reassure her with caused her face to fall further as she realized my decision. She took 2 steps back from me. "You're going to just let him die?" "I'm not letting him die. He is dying because he jumped out in front of a car." She looked at her husband. Her face pleaded for him to intervene. "Doc, really? You can't do this for my wife?" I paused before replying. "What about my wife? My son? My time with them? The person who wouldn't live because I used that month on this guy? I didn't want to bring my family into this. I won't use them as cover for my actions." "I'm sorry. I can't. We'll continue to give him expert medical care like we do for everyone else." A long, high-pitched tone sounded overhead, the code alarm. I looked up at the remote monitoring station and saw Josh's heart rate had dropped to 20, a reflex that happens with massive spikes in intracranial pressure. He was dying. Now, just like he would have in an ambulance had this accident happened on a highway. His young age and overall health got him this far, but his luck had ran out. "I'm sorry. I need to get back to him." I jogged toward the trauma room to attend to my patient and to get away from the awkward interaction with Diane and her husband. This gift sure was turning out to be a double-edged sword. By the time I arrived at the bedside, his heart had stopped. The monitor registered no electrical activity. The team looked at me expectantly. A nurse stood on a stool with his hands locked together, ready to begin chest compressions. The fact he hadn't started yet meant he knew it was futile, just like we all did. I shook my head. "Time of death, 7:05 p.m. "No, you can't stop!" yelled Diane. She pushed through the team surrounding the bed and began bare-handed chest compressions. We heard the crunch of ribs as her expert technique moved parts of his body that no longer connected. She glared at the respiratory therapist. "Squeeze that bag! Someone give him a dose of epinephrine!" She continued pressing on his chest. "Why are you all just standing there?" I made eye contact with our charge nurse and tried to put words into my facial expression. Please make her stop. This was pointless. Her husband reached out to touch her shoulder. "Diane, honey." "No, I'm not stopping. Get your hands away unless you're going to take over when I collapse." He drew his hand back and surveyed the eyes of our resuscitation team. Each pair gave the same answer. Nothing we could do would bring Josh back. He closed his eyes and took a breath, exhaled, then reached out and wrapped his wife in a hug. She struggled against his grip but couldn't fight his strength. He lifted her off the ground and rotated her away from the bed. Another nurse pulled the curtain back and led them into the next bay, where he let her down to the ground. Right before he screamed and grabbed his back. She didn't react to his touch or his shout of pain. She stood still with her eyes closed and shoulders down, and sobbed. I walked over to her and got as close as her husband's arm was long. He shoved his free hand into my chest and shook his head. "Doc, you could have saved him if you wanted, couldn't you?" He saw the news story just like everyone else. He heard the stories I'm sure Diane brought home from the hospital. He knew. "Yes. So you could have saved a life, but chose not to." That sounds a lot like negligent homicide. I hope you have a good lawyer, Doc. Because the prosecutor owes me about 10 favors. I wouldn't leave the state if I were you." He winced and leaned forward onto the bed with both hands. What is he talking about? Negligent homicide? Am I required to kill myself for anyone who is dying? Where was that in the rule book? I didn't have the right to choose who I heal and who I didn't. I struggled to find an appropriate response, but remembered advice I'd received long ago. You can't get in trouble for what you don't say. Thankfully, my shift was finally over. I needed to get out of here and into the arms of my wife. I'd apologize to Diane later. And maybe call my lawyer friend to see if her husband was onto something with his threat. I turned my existing patients over to my incoming partner and headed out the ambulance bay entrance toward my car at the back of the parking lot. "Goodbye, Dr. Turner. Have a great night." Natalie said the words in her new, cheery tone. I couldn't help but smile along with her. I was looking forward to dinner and time with my family, while her time off consisted of doctor's visits and difficult moments helping her child. Thank you, too. If you get a chance, can you talk to Diane for me? I probably should have just saved the guy, but there are so many more deserving people out there. I froze up and didn't consider how it impacted her. She'll be fine. She's an ER nurse. We're tough. Sure you are. Tough as they come. But you also sacrifice yourself for your patients. I bet she'd do anything to take back that moment. I'm going to regret today for a long time. But at least it's over. Take care. I exited the hospital through the ambulance bay and made my way toward the employee parking lot. A black Suburban idled next to the curb near the ambulance bay door. The driver's door opened as I approached. "Excuse me," said a solidly built Hispanic man. His right arm stayed inside the SUV while his left pointed at me. "Can you tell me where the outpatient surgery center is?" I pointed toward a multi-story building behind him. "Sure, it's right over there, but it's closed now. Are you preparing for an upcoming—" I cut myself off when the man's right hand emerged from the SUV's door. He held a handgun, pointed directly at my chest. We weren't even 10 feet apart. There was no chance he would miss from this distance. "What's going on?" I asked, pulling my hands back in a defensive pose. "You're getting in my car and we're going for a ride." He reached over and opened the rear door. A flick of the gun encouraged me to get inside. I'd heard to never get into a vehicle during a kidnapping attempt. The bad stuff usually happened at a remote site away from the abduction. Fight like crazy from the onset. But I also heard not to run when there's a gun pointed at your chest. So I climbed into the car. He slammed the door shut and then joined me inside.